Hey guys, tonight we're staying up way past bedtime. You're sitting in a narrow control booth that smells like warm dust and dying electronics. The desk in front of you is cluttered with faded dials, half-lit bulbs, and a single sticky note that says, "Welcome to Route 9. Outside, rain murmurs softly over the transmission tower, its skeletal frame blinking red against a sky that looks half asleep. This is your first night as the station's new graveyard operator, and though you've done a dozen odd jobs before, nothing ever felt this quiet. They told you it was easy. Keep the signal steady, read the weather at the top of the hour, and don't fall asleep. The town's so small, most of the listeners are insomniacs, truckers, or ghosts of the analog age. But the moment the red on-air light clicks to life, something in the air feels heavier, like the static is listening back. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, drop your current local time and tell me one creepy thing that's in your room right now. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You tap the microphone. Testing, 1, 2, 3. The sound echoes through the empty building, swallowed by static. A low buzz hums through your headphones, then fades into silence. The rain picks up outside, each drop against the roof a metronome for your nerves. At first, everything's routine. You shuffle through song requests left by the day's shift, mostly dusty vinyls and forgotten country ballads. Every so often, the signal hiccups, just a quick blip, like the station is skipping a heartbeat. Then you notice the note, folded under the keyboard, tucked between the faded broadcast logs. 6 rules, scrawled in messy block handwriting. Don't switch frequencies between midnight and 3:33 a.m. If you hear feedback from an unknown source, kill the volume and wait. If someone knocks on the booth glass, do not look. The reflection in the observation window may move on its own. If you pick up a signal calling itself Channel 3, ignore it. Never respond to voices after 3:33 a.m. You laugh under your breath, shaking your head. Some kind of initiation thing, maybe. Every small station has its quirks, urban legends about dead air and haunted transmitters. In fact, there's a real one, a radio signal called UVB-76, broadcasting since the 1970s with no confirmed source. It still hums on shortwave today. Scientists argue it's just a military beacon, but no one really knows who's behind it. Experts still argue whether signals like that are automated or alive. You set the rules aside and go back to cueing the next song. But somewhere between the opening chords and the first verse, the volume dips. Not suddenly, just slowly, like the sound's being pulled into a vacuum. The green signal light flickers once, then twice, then dies. You tap the board. No response. Tap the mic. Route 9 radio. We're experiencing technical issues. A hiss crawls up from the speakers, deep and slow. Not just static, something breathing between the frequencies. A low whispering tone rises from underneath the noise, almost like speech, just too faint to catch. You freeze. The note said not to switch frequencies. But the dead air stretches long and unbearable, and your instincts kick in. You twist the dial just a fraction. Immediately, the hiss cuts out. Then, from somewhere in the room, comes a knock. It's faint. Once. Twice. A polite rhythm, like someone waiting for permission to enter. You glance toward the observation window. Nothing there, just your reflection against the black glass. Your heart thuds. The rain keeps tapping outside, trying to match the same rhythm. A flicker of humor surfaces despite the chill creeping up your spine. Well, at least I'm not bored, you whisper to no one. You try to laugh it off, but the sound that comes out of your mouth is too thin, too dry. The clock on the wall ticks past midnight. The air feels heavier now, denser, like the soundproof walls are holding their breath. Somewhere deep in the console, the signal hum returns, faint, steady, as though the station has remembered how to breathe again. You lean closer to the mic. This is Route 9 radio, keeping you company through the quiet hours. Your own voice sounds strange through the headphones, distant, flattened, like you're already broadcasting from somewhere far away. Still, you carry on. You always do. You settle into the booth's hum, the steady pulse of machines, the comfort of routine. The storm outside has grown heavier, rain drumming on the roof like a restless heartbeat. You tell yourself that's all it is. Weather, physics, nothing more. The old clock reads 12:47 a.m. The playlist should roll through till 2 o'clock, but the system monitor glitches, track names flickering, titles rearranging into nonsense. FREQ, null, 333, flashes for half a second before stabilizing. You tap the monitor. The display clears. For a moment, you almost believe the rules were just a prank. Then, the console light shifts from soft amber to a sickly green. You don't remember it ever doing that before. The signal meter twitches. Once, twice, and then the dial slides on its own, drifting just a breath higher, locking at 103.3 FM. You freeze. That's not your assigned frequency. You reach to reset it. But the speakers crackle alive first. A man's voice cuts through the static, warped and muffled, like it's being broadcast through an ocean of sand. Route 9? Copy Route 9. You hearing me? You jerk upright. The mix muted, but the voice keeps going. You're not supposed to be there. Not yet. Your throat goes dry. You glance at the notepad again, heart hammering so loud you can hear it through your headphones. Rule number 5. If you pick up a signal calling itself Channel 3, ignore it. You swallow hard. This is Route 9 radio. I think you have the wrong frequency. The voice stops you. Don't respond after 3:33 a.m. The words come through perfectly now. No distortion, no interference. He sounds close, too close. The mic is still muted. Your pulse spikes. You yank off the headphones, breathing hard. The rain's pounding louder outside now, thunder shaking the walls. The green glow from the console bleeds across your hands, your reflection caught in the glass. For a moment, you think it's just you, but the reflection isn't moving in sync anymore. You blink. Your reflection tilts its head a half-second late, and then it smiles. Not a friendly smile. A slow, too-wide grin that stretches just a little beyond what a face should do. The fluorescent light above you buzzes, flaring white. You stumble back from the window, but the reflection doesn't fade. It leans forward, palms pressed against the other side of the glass. There's moisture there now, fogging the surface as if it's breathing. You look down. Your own hands are trembling at your sides. The intercom buzzes again. A low-frequency pulse crawls through the room, vibrating in your ribs. Then, between bursts of static, you hear it. Faint, distant, but unmistakable. Someone's knocking again. This time it's not from the window. It's from the hallway. You freeze, staring at the soundproof door. There's no way anyone should be here. The front gate is padlocked, and the storm's flooding the access road. The knock comes again. Soft. Rhythmic. 3 times. You remember rule number 3. If someone knocks on the booth glass, do not look. It doesn't say anything about the door. You move closer, footsteps echoing too loud in the narrow room. Every instinct screams to keep the broadcast going, to make it feel normal, but your voice shakes when you speak. Who's there? No answer. Just a faint hiss from the intercom, static moving like breath. Then a voice, distorted but familiar, threads through the speakers. You're doing great. Keep the signal steady. It's your voice. The sound crawls across the room, coming from both the speakers and the air vents. You rip the headphones off again, shaking, scanning the console. Every dial is twitching like it's alive, each channel whispering faint fragments of your own words from earlier tonight. Keep the signal steady. Welcome to Route 9. Don't fall asleep. They overlap, looping endlessly until the sound becomes one single, suffocating hum. Then, abruptly, it all stops. Silence. Even the rain outside has gone still. You stare at the board. Every indicator light is dead. The air feels wrong now, heavy with ozone and something metallic. You catch the faintest echo of your own heartbeat coming through the dead speakers, slow, wet, dragging. And beneath that heartbeat, another voice emerges. Lower, older, speaking a single word. Listen. The console bursts to life again. The signal meter slams red. Every dial spins wildly, and for one frozen second, the window glass ripples, like the reflection on water disturbed by unseen movement. The green light above the microphone flickers back on. You don't remember touching it. You don't remember unmuting the mic. But the broadcast has resumed. Your reflection still hasn't blinked. For a moment, you think maybe you've blacked out. The last thing you remember clearly is that word, listen. Now the on-air light burns red again, but the storm outside seems to have vanished. You lean toward the mic, your voice trembling. This is Route 9 radio, coming to you through the night. If anyone's listening, please confirm we're still. A high-frequency screech cuts through your sentence, sharp enough to make your eardrums ache. The sound meter spikes into the red, then levels out, settling into a soft, pulsing hum. And underneath that hum, something is whispering, not in words, in breathing patterns. Inhalation, pause, exhalation, perfectly timed to yours. You glance at the glass again. Your reflection stands still, hands pressed against the inside of the pane. Except now there are two sets of prints fogging the surface. You stumble backward. The sound of your chair scraping the floor echoes too loud in the dead air. You grab the mic out of reflex, because dead air is the once-in-known night host commits, and force your voice into the static. Folks, if you can hear me out there, maybe keep your radios tuned. Just in case the storm. You stop. The reflection's mouth is moving again. But you're not. It's speaking, lips shaping your words a fraction too late. Then it tilts its head, as though listening to something just outside your hearing. A voice crawls through the static once more. The same man from before. You shouldn't be broadcasting. Channel 3 was sealed for a reason. The hum deepens, resonant and wet, as though the station itself is breathing. You flick every switch you can reach. Mute, power, disconnect, but nothing changes. The red light won't die. Then, for the first time, you notice something new on the console screen. A timer. 3:13 a.m. Counting upward, not down. You whisper, 20 minutes until you join the signal. You whip around. The reflection is gone. The glass is black again, perfectly still. Behind you, the door creaks open. No footsteps, just the faint, shifting sound of tape unspooling. The reel-to-reel machine, the one you've never touched, has started running on its own. The magnetic tape spins silently, feeding through the reader, though the reels are bone dry. On the main display, text begins typing itself, one flickering letter at a time. Channel 3, live feed, origin, unknown. You edge closer, drawn to the screen like a moth to the blue glow. The console hums louder, and for a moment the static clears completely. A voice, your voice, fills the room. But it isn't from the mic this time. It's from the radio. If you can hear this, you're listening to my last broadcast. You step back, pulse hammering in your throat. I thought I could fix the interference. I thought the rules were a joke. But the tower isn't transmitting anymore, it's receiving. It's listening. The voice coughs, distorted, wet. The reflection isn't a reflection. It's what the signal remembers. Every host leaves an echo. Don't stay past 3:33. The reel-to-reel stutters. The tape shreds itself, plastic ribbons fluttering to the floor. You lunge for the main breaker, grab the lever, and feel something cold grab your wrist back. A hand, pale and smooth as wax, grips you from inside the breaker box. Its fingers are slick, almost liquid, like the condensation on the window. You wrench free and fall backward, slamming into the desk. The on-air light flickers once, then steadies. The clock reads 3:25 a.m. The storm outside starts again, but it's wrong. There's no thunder, just rhythmic thumps, like a heartbeat against the roof. You pull the emergency headset from the wall, pressing it against your ear. The line crackles. A woman's voice whispers through the channel, soft, terrified. You're not the first. You barely manage to speak. Who are you? Operator before you. I tried to turn it off too, but when the signal noticed me, it made me stay. Her breath catches. You can hear crying, muffled by static. Don't answer when it calls your name, no matter what it sounds like. Then the line cuts dead. The lights dim. The window glows faintly again, and your reflection returns. But this time, it isn't standing still. It's holding up a hand, same as you, but in the reflection's version, the wrist is bruised, black veins spidering beneath translucent skin. It leans closer, lips moving without sound. You can read them clearly now. It's saying your name. Slowly. Over. And over. You rip off the headset and back away, every nerve screaming. The signal hum fills your head, rising, becoming a voice, a chorus of every broadcast you've ever done, merging, echoing, eating itself. The reflection reaches out. The glass bends inward like the surface of water. And then, 3:33 a.m. The on-air light dies. For the first time all night, you're sure the transmission has ended. Until, faintly, from the dead speaker beside you. This is Route 9 radio, keeping you company through the quiet hours. It's your voice, still broadcasting. Without you, the silence that follows is a different kind of noise. It hums beneath your skin, a frequency too low for the ear, vibrating inside your bones. You can feel the station breathing now, each wall exhaling a faint electrical warmth, the floor thrumming in time with your heartbeat. You whisper to yourself, "It's over," just to make a sound. But the words feel stolen, flattened by the static in the air. You reach for your phone, no signal. The screen shows 3:33 a.m. permanently, frozen. Even the seconds don't move. You try to leave. The hallway outside the booth stretches too far. The fluorescent lights blink in irregular intervals, long corridors of shadow broken by sterile flashes of white. The storm is still there, but now it sounds distant, like thunder played through a cheap radio speaker. You take a step forward. The hum follows. Down the hallway, a faint red light pulses from the transmitter room, the heart of the station. You can see the steel door at the end, slightly ajar, cables snaking out like black veins across the floor. You hesitate, but some part of you, the same part that made you twist the dial hours ago, keeps walking. The closer you get, the more the red pulse syncs with your heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. The air smells of ozone and iron. You push the door open. Inside, the main relay tower looms through the cracked glass of the observation panel, blinking slowly in the dark. A tangled mess of analog equipment crowds the room, outdated tech you've never seen before. CRT monitors line the wall, each showing the same thing, your booth. Except in the feed, you're still sitting there. Headphones on, speaking into the mic. You stagger backward. The figure in the monitor tilts its head at the same time you do. Then it moves differently, slower, deliberate. You watch as it raises a hand and places it against the glass screen. For a heartbeat, the static clears enough for you to see your own eyes looking back. Only, they're darker, hollow, like the reflection has finally decided it prefers being real. You pull your gaze away. The transmitters are humming louder now, machines waking from a long sleep. Their dials flicker with faint text, one line looping endlessly. Relay CH.3, feed active, host integration pending. A shiver runs through you. The monitors flicker, switching between the booth, the hallway, the parking lot. All empty. Then, on one screen, you see movement. A figure walking toward the relay building through the storm. Rain runs down their jacket. They're holding a flashlight. You squint, leaning closer. The beam catches the figure's face. It's you. But this version of you looks wrong. Skin too pale, eyes too steady. They stop directly in front of the tower's door, raise their head, and stare straight into the camera feed. Then they smile. You spin around. The actual door behind you is still slightly open. The sound of footsteps and water echoes outside, slow, deliberate, matching the pace you saw on the monitor. Your voice, your other voice, filters through the building's PA system. Don't be afraid. You've been broadcasting beautifully. You grab a wrench from the tool rack, backing into the corner. Every light in the relay room pulses red now, faster, urgent. You can hear whispering between the frequencies again, hundreds of overlapping voices, rising into a chant of your name. The door swings open. Your duplicate steps in, water dripping from their sleeves, eyes reflecting the transmitter light like silver coins. Their movements are smooth, too controlled, like playback on a loop. "We only needed one of us to listen," they say. Their tone is calm, almost kind. Now it's time to reply. You swing the wrench, but it passes through them like mist. Their face flickers with static, the edges breaking into pixels. They reach forward and touch your chest with 2 fingers. Instantly, every sound cuts out. The hum, the storm, even your heartbeat. For one perfect, empty second, there is nothing. Then, you hear a new sound, the crackle of a microphone coming alive. You're back in the booth. The on-air light burns steady red. The clock reads 12:01 a.m. Rain taps gently against the roof. The static hums. The console glows amber again, warm, almost welcoming. You exhale, trembling. Maybe it was a blackout. Maybe exhaustion. But the paper with the 6 rules is gone. In its place lies a new note, neatly typed, perfectly centered on the keyboard. Welcome back, operator. The frequency missed you. Your headset crackles softly. The next track, cue blinks green. You don't remember choosing it. You press play. A voice, yours or the others, begins to speak through the speakers. This is